Jerry Jones was on Dallas radio this morning and was asked if there was a situation where Tony Romo would replace Dak Prescott as starting quarterback. Jerry said, quote, "You'll know it when you see it." Jerry added, "It will be obvious to see with Romo, with the way he's been practicing and playing. We're going into the playoffs with a great quarterback situation. I'm not tired of answering it because I'm grateful for our situation. I think it's wonderful."
Aha. Here we go.
Skip?
Yes, Joy.
What do you make of Jerry's comments?
What I make is translation. Dak Prescott had better snap out of it for this upcoming game against Tampa Bay on Sunday night and play as well as he did for all those games leading up and through the Redskins game on Thanksgiving Day at Jerry World. Or Tony Romo will start the following game, which is Detroit on Monday Night Football after this coming Sunday night. And wouldn't our friends at ESPN love it if Tony Romo started that Monday night game against Detroit? That would be a ratings bonanza. I personally would not love it. But I've said from the start, Jerry is just biding his time, waiting for his opening, and now the door is cracked because my Cowboys, Dak's Cowboys, obviously went 1 for 9 on third down at Minnesota and lived to tell about it, survived. Then they went 1 for 15 at the Giants and they lost 10-7. You can say Dak is hitting that proverbial rookie wall. I still say I look back at all those games that he won at Washington and at Green Bay and at Pittsburgh and all the home games that he won against Baltimore and Cincinnati and the Redskins, and I can go on and on and on. That body of work should make him the starter all the way into the playoffs. I believe Dak will snap out of it and win this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have a red-hot defense and a very good quarterback of their own emerging in his second year in Jameis Winston. But this is week to week. He's been week to week, I thought, from the start. And now he's got to go win to win and save his job. This Sunday night against Tampa is a huge game for my Dallas Cowboys. And in the big picture it is, because if they lose this game, then they're going backward when you should be going forward toward the playoffs. And it would be a huge loss. And I told you I'll come in here on Monday if they lose and say, now we're in trouble. So far, we're not in trouble because we're still 11-2, tied with New England for the best record in pro football, in the driver's seat for home field advantage. 2 games in a row at home, Tampa Bay, Detroit, both dangerous but winnable games. Dak, you got to take care of business, and you got to snap out of it and get back to being Dak Prescott.
It's funny that a young man that's 11-2, won 11 straight ball games, possibly has to win out in order to keep his job starting in the playoffs. Jerry says he loves talking about this. You know why? Because Tony isn't in there yet. I guarantee you, if Tony were to start and they asked him, if Tony mess up, would you go back to Dak? He would say no. Skip, everybody got on me. You're making something that's nothing. I'm telling you, it's not so much what Jerry is saying, it's what he isn't saying when he should be saying it. See, normal coaches, when Tom Brady played his worst game, maybe of his career, in Kansas City, are you thinking about Nick?
No.
Really? Seriously?
Yeah.
Are you going to ask me
true.
this?
No. You're right.
Tony Romo looks good in practice. We're not talking about the game. We're talking about practice. He looks good in practice. Because remember the last time they saw Tony Romo in a meaningful game, although the third game of the preseason, what happened, Skip? That's how Dak got in there. But he's talking about Tony Romo.
And by the way, that well could happen very quickly the next time he plays.
Skip,
Get hurt.
think about it. Tony Romo's looking good in practice. He's going against the Cowboys defense. The Cowboys defense isn't very good. What they've been able to do is hide it. When you hold the ball 36 minutes, Skip, and your defense is only on the field 24 to 25 minutes, you're going to win a lot of ball games because the Cowboys offense puts so much pressure on you because they're scoring. Dak was scoring 27, 28 points a game. Sometimes they got to 30. Well,
I got to interject quickly.
Go ahead.
I thought that defense was really good at the Giants.
They played
really good because the time possession was about even. So go ahead.
It was really good, and Eli was really good and terrible.
Okay.
But
whatever.
Skip, Jerry cannot bring himself. He will feel incomplete if this team were to make.
He will.
They're going to make the playoffs.
Yep.
Go to the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl. Jerry will feel incomplete if Tony Romo's not his starting quarterback.
Correct.
In his heart of hearts, he's not wishing bad on Dak Prescott. I don't believe any owner or player wishes bad on another owner or player. But he wants Tony in there. He wants Tony to validate his belief in him. Because
his financial commitment to him. Yes.
Because Jerry is like in his mid-70s, and he's still a little kid. I told you.
He is.
And that's what he wants. I can't. For me, it didn't matter. Yeah, I wanted John to win the Super Bowl. But if John had gotten hurt and Bubby came in there and was playing better than John, I love him. But why upset what we have here? I just don't get it. It's hard for me to understand because I've never seen it. Having played the game for 14 years, having been around the game since I've been retired, so better part of almost 30 years, I've never, ever heard an owner who's a part-time coach. Well, he's a full-time coach. Garrett just stands on the side.
I agree with that.
Just stands on the sideline.
You're right.
But I've never heard this kind of talk before. Everybody have a contingent plan. If something were to happen, but they're not discussing it openly every week. How does the backup quarterback, I mean, we talked about Tebow being the backup quarterback and getting mentioned. How does the backup quarterback, when the guy won 11 straight games, is still in your vernacular about possibly being inserted into the lineup?
Because he's got, $100-some million contract.
$108 million, 55 guaranteed.
And he's made 4 Pro Bowls. And Jerry does, I don't know if he loves him like a son, but he likes him a lot personally. And I've been around Jerry enough to tell you, he's got that old school mentality of, hey, the kid played great, pat him on the head. Yeah. He got us in position, but now, come on now. Now we got to give it to the real quarterback. You know, the guy who knows how to get us home. Here we go.
I can see, though, if Tony Romo had a track record. Tony Romo's never been to a conference championship. Tony Romo's never been to a Super Bowl. So he's basing it on, like Tony Romo is Tom Brady. Like Tony Romo is Ben Roethlisberger or Eli.
Yep.
These guys have proven track records, been to championship games, won Super Bowls. Why are you so convinced that this time around, Tony's going to bring it home? Because remember now, this is the same offensive line that you had in 2014. And I know everybody says DeMarco Murray is not on Ezekiel's level. But DeMarco Murray had 1,848 yards.
Good.
Dez Bryant, and you will attest to this, Skip, he played the best receiver of his career that year.
Monster. Jump ball monster.
So
throw it up and let him go get it.
So we saw.
Yep.
So even at his absolute best, he lost 4 games in the regular season. Dak Prescott is a rookie. He's 11 and 2? 11 and 2. So you putting all this praise and heaping all this praise on Tony Romo like he has a track record that says he's a Super Bowl winning, he's a conference title winning quarterback when that's not there. When 3,000 Skip. 3,000 yards used to mean something before they changed the rules. Now if you don't throw for 4,000 yards, Skip, people look at you like you're a bum. And John Elway had 1. I don't know how many Montana had. Maybe he had 1 or 2. But it was 3,000 was the gold standard. Now, if you don't throw for 4,000 yards with as much as they throw it, they look at you like you're a bum.
So Jerry Jones, in his pride, were on a mission 1995 to show the world that he could win a Super Bowl without Jimmy Johnson. Okay. He had made a statement before he hired Barry Switzer saying 500 coaches could win a Super Bowl with this team that we have assembled here. And Barry Switzer finally, he failed in 94, but in 95, he won a Super Bowl. This is the same concept right now. He wants to show the world he can win a Super Bowl with Tony Romo, and the kid has made it possible. I know Tony Romo would not be 11 and 2 with this team. I doubt Tony Romo would still be afloat with this team because I don't think he could have remained healthy with this team. But the point is, now that Dak has done what Dak did, which is extraordinary, all of a sudden it's a silver platter to say, the kid hit the rookie wall. He put us in position. Now take us home, Tony Romo. Take me home with you, Tony Romo. Take my pride and my legacy home with you. Bring home that Lombardi, Tony Romo. You know, come on.
When you look at, Skip, the teams, the guys that have won, I'm talking about all-time great quarterbacks. You're talking about Marino winning this many games, or Elway going 13-0, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. You're talking about some of the all-time greats winning double-digit games in a row. I don't know. Has Tony Romo ever won double-digit games in a row? No. So for Jerry to say, oh, yeah, Tony, with this team right here, he's bringing it home.
Only Jerry Jones could think it's a good thing to have a quarterback controversy.
That's correct.
A quarterback controversy that shouldn't exist in the first place.
Thank you. And he is
Usually
going
avoiding
to
that.
screw it up before this is over.
You're going to
Hopefully
be so
not.
obsessed.
Hopefully not.
I will.
Coming up, now that Jeff Fisher has been fired in L.A., who should be the next coach of the Rams? Former GM Michael Lombardi joins the debate now.